And now I'd like to welcome Holly Sullivan, who's with the Connecticut Citizens Defense League, and I think she might have you beat New Jersey.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I see kind of a recurring theme up here: Connecticut, California, Illinois, New Jersey. I think that's no coincidence. So my name is Holly Sullivan, and I am proudly one of the executive board members of the Connecticut Citizens Defense League. I'm also the Connecticut delegate for the DC project, so hopefully you're learning a lot about us this week. So I'd like to talk to you about the state issues that we have. The Connecticut Citizens Defense League is a non-partisan organization that's dedicated to protecting the unalienable rights of all citizens. We're a legislative action group which not only works on Second Amendment issues, but for those who don't know Connecticut, we also have a state constitution. And in the state constitution, it clearly says that every citizen has the right to bear arms in defense of self and state. So we take that pretty seriously in the Constitution state. Connecticut is actually one of the smallest states in the country. We are the 48th smallest state. We're approximately 1/45th the size of Texas. But we have in the CCDL 34,416 members. Thank you. Just in the month of August, we added over 300 new members in our state. Senators Richard Blumenthal and Chris Murphy may have you think that our small little blue state is anti-gun, but CCDL can attest that almost 270,000 residents in our tiny state are permitted to carry a firearm. That is almost 1 in 7 eligible residents. You take out children and felons, almost 1 in 7 residents in the state of Connecticut can carry a firearm legally. So we're doing stuff in our teeny tiny state that the media and our representatives would not have you know. This year, we have renewed energy and we are focused on outreach and engagement. We had the absolute pleasure to host Maj Touré in the last few weeks, who reached more than 500 people in our state in one jam-packed weekend. We're tirelessly working with other organizations such as college students, getting out on college campuses, talking to young Republicans, libertarians, anyone who supports the Second Amendment. We've opened up dialogues with college NAACP chapters, and we're giving young people information about constitutional issues such as onerous permit fees that we have in the state of Connecticut that prohibit different socioeconomic groups from exercising their Second Amendment rights. So we are also doing outreach initiatives in Connecticut to connect on local levels and find individuals that can lead and connect people so that we can start to reach other communities that maybe is a little different than the faces that we see in this room today. And that's where we're going in our little state. I'm a mom of a 5-year-old little girl. She's a first grader. I live 3.5 miles from Sandy Hook Elementary School. For me, they think that people in my state are all anti-gun, and I'm going to be the one to say, no, we're not. And I look around the room at the DC Project members, and they look at these women. We're the ones that are starting to say, we've got to change the direction, and we've got to change the dialogue, and we've got to say, you know what, they don't speak for all of us, because, thank you, I demand the ability to take action. I don't want to just demand that somebody do it for me. If I want to protect my first grader, in the next town over to Newtown, Connecticut, I'm going to defend the right to do that, and I'm going to pass that on to her as well. So we've got a lot of work to do. Connecticut was deeply impacted by the legislation that came post Sandy Hook. We have capacity bans, we have ghost gun bans, we have scary feature bans, whatever you can come up with. We have red flag laws without due process. We used to be the Constitution state, and much like California, we can attest that this will spread. But we also have tremendous successes as well. We've stopped show your paper bills, which basically means that an officer can demand to see your permit without any suspicion of a crime. And we've managed to stop some of these bills as well. CCDL and the NRA are supporting Remington Arms in the Soto versus Bushmaster case. And for those who aren't familiar with it, the estate of Victoria Soto, one of the victims in Sandy Hook, is suing Remington Arms because their gun was used in a crime. And we are very proudly supporting them at the Supreme Court level. We have filed amicus briefs with our neighbors in New York and New Jersey, and it's really important that we work together, that these state organizations connect, and we support one another. But I think most importantly, we must speak to those outside of our silos. We have to educate, and we have to have the tough conversations. We have to reach out to the communities that we're not normally in, and I think that's something that each and every one of us in this room can go home with. Am I out of time? So for those of you that don't know CCDL, please check us out, ccdl.us. Check out the DC Project. Keep in touch with me, Holly Sullivan, Second Amendment Advocate on Facebook. And we just got to work together, and we've got to get out there. We've got to kind of change the face of gun ownership in America, and we're doing that in our small little liberal state. So, thank you.